This conference will now be recorded.
I'd like to welcome everyone this afternoon or this evening to the Tuesday, September 6th, 2022 for the Bladen County Board of Commissioners meeting. At this time, I would like to recognize Mr. Adam Self, Sunroads Baptist Church, pastor to lead us in prayers, and Mr. Mark, our pledge afterwards.
Well, Mr. Greg, dear God, we just come before you as a reminder here and now. We stand before your presence as we always do. Remember our words, our thoughts, and our actions that we're to mirror you, what you've created us to do that one and only one thing that you created us to do is to worship and honor in every aspect of our life, in our thoughts, in our words, and even in our actions. As we think about all the things that you have blessed us with each and every day, God, we thank you just for another opportunity to experience your forgiveness, your mercy, and your grace, and the privilege just to wake up this morning to be a part of all of your plan. We ask that you be with each and every one of us as we go about our daily lives, that we would mirror you and live for just you and run to that only source of freedom, the only source of freedom true in this world that comes only from you. In your Son, Jesus Christ's name we pray forever. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Before you approve that, the consent item, can I get an explanation on item 2I? Talks about some kind of tax, excise tax refund or whatever.
Mr. Mark, would you like to comment on that?
Yes, sir. Excise tax, examples of excise tax would be registered, but these stamp revenues, the sheriff's office receives excise tax in terms of their non-federal drug seizure money. And to our knowledge, we've never had an example of that. It's just something that they're saying for us so that we could expedite the repayment if it ever happens, or refund if it ever happens.
Money that comes in, you can give to other departments?
No, if there were, say for instance, if a deed didn't actually close, the closing didn't take place.
Okay.
Money needed to be remitted back to the person.
Okay.
I don't know that that's ever happened.
Okay, all right, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
I saw that.
So, got a motion by Mr. Peterson, Mr. Becker.
Second.
Got a second over here, Mr. Cameron. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item 3, special recognition, presentation of Constitution Week proclamation. Commissioner, come down front, please.
Well, Your Honor.
Now, I might do a little check it, right? At this time, it's an honor to stand here in presentation of the Constitution Week proclamation. And it's a pleasure, I know Miss Susie Wilkes, daughter of the Battle of Elizabethtown Regiment, to receive the Constitution Week proclamation that our Madam Clerk is going to read at this time. But I think this should be important to all of us in our country.
Whereas September 17, 2022 marks the 235th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitution Convention. And whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17 through September 23 as Constitution Week. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the week of September 17th through the 23rd, 2022, in Bladen County be designated as Constitution Week. And now be it further proclaimed that the Bladen County Board of Commissioners asks that all citizens to reaffirm the ideals and framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by diligently protecting the freedoms and guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberties, remembering that lost rights may never be regained.
Again, thank you very much. Ms.
Thank
Susie.
you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I would like to invite you all to, the courthouse September the 17th at 4 o'clock.
Well, it's the 235th anniversary, and we'll ring the bell 235 times.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
Bring your children.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Can you get a motion for open public hearing to receive comments? Second, Mr. Gillespie. Second, by Dr. Ellis. Public hearing to receive comments regarding a rezoning request for property PIN number 035700096926 located at 612 Purdy Hall Road in Tar Heel. Anyone here in reference to that?
Somebody sign in to speak?
Yes.
Okay.
Gloria McLean. You're not here for that. We're not here for this.
Close.
Motion is closed. Do you have any?
I was just gonna kind of give you an overview of what was, it was in your packet, pictures in the 672 Purdy Hall Road. The property owner here tonight, William McMillan, wants to restore some, old cars and get his dealer's license so he can drive them and sell them. So, and he lives on the property. There's Richardson's garage is less than a quarter of a mile from this location. They work in concert together sometimes with different jobs, and there's some land zone commercial like nearby too. So, and the planning board did meet August the 16th, had our public meeting. Just like tonight, nobody came to, haven't had any phone calls or anything of anybody in opposition or for it.
Anybody have? Motion by Mr. Peterson.
Second.
Second by Dr. Mungo. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Consider approving a rezoning request for property PIN number 0357.
Second.
Mr. Peterson, second by Mr. Cogdill. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing to receive comments regarding a proposed application of the Community Development Block Grant Neighborhood Revitalization, and we have Mr. Chris Gilbert here to speak on behalf of that. Come on up, Mr.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. Just briefly, the purpose of the public hearing is to apply for CDBG neighborhood revitalization grant funds. These are housing funds to help severely deteriorated housing in either rehab or reconstruction. There is up to $950,000 available this year. Applications are due September 30th. There will need to be a second public hearing at your next meeting, as there's 2 public hearings required to apply. There's no match to the county. Applications have been being accepted at emergency management office, and they will be for another week. We've got to kind of cut it off and get assessments done and things like that to get the application in by the 30th. So, but people can still apply. They need to submit their income verifications when they apply. And there will be a housing selection committee, like administrative committee, that reviews the applications to help decide who goes in that application. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir.
Chairman, is that application online?
No, it's not on. They can contact my office and we'll be glad to see it. Or come by.
Thank you very much, sir. Individual delegations who wish to address commissioners?
Gloria McLean.
Fine.
My name is Gloria McLean. I'm from the town of East Arcadia, and I am the town clerk. I would like to read a letter, and it is addressed to the Bladen County Commissioners, to the Chairman, Ray Britt, and Mr. Greg Martin. It is from the mayor of Perry Blanks of East Arcadia. Subject is the contract of East Arcadia Fire Department. It states, I, Perry Blanks, am the mayor of the town of East Arcadia. I am obligated to look out for the best interests of the citizens of East Arcadia. On the night of September the 22nd, 2022, at the town hall meeting, I was present. The contract submitted to you is not a legal contract on behalf of the town of East Arcadia. The council did not have the authority to overrule me as a sitting elected mayor. Furthermore, the attorney of the council members, the clerk, and I have not seen a contract submitted on behalf of the town. In the event that I am unable to attend due to other obligations, which are family, I ask the commissioners to allow the town clerk, Lori McLean, to read this letter and answer any questions on my behalf. If you have any additional questions, I ask that you contact me, Mayor Perry Blanks, at 910-398-7924, or our town attorney, Santana Miller, at 910-655-4103. He also states that in the event a contract is needed, he is prepared to sign a temporary contract with ADR if they're not able to proceed going forward with a contract with East Arcadia. And that's respectfully from the Mayor, Perry Blanks. Thank you.
And we can take that on advisement. Anyone else, Madam Clerk? Matter of interest to commissioners?
I got one that I want
Yes,
to
sir.
bring up, Mr. Chair. Is I spoke with Mr. Martin about this earlier, and Nathan Dallas back there has worked diligently with this project, and I've worked with it also. And I was trying to figure out where it was at and what was the status and how was it progressing. It's been going on now, what, Nate, about a couple of years with that Matthew and Florence rebuild. And I inquired as to an update as to what was happening with the rebuild project in Bladen County. And I got some data I wanted to share it with you here on some things that had happened. At this time, that grant, that program had $750 million that was to be used for reconstruction, modifications, and dealing with houses that were damaged from Hurricane Florence and Matthew. At this time, Bladen County has received $176,148.83 worth of federal funds for new construction, reconstruction, elevation, rehabilitation, and for different types of things from the home, to improve homes. It's been a total of 230 homes that have been impacted by the $27 million. It's been 402 homes that have been assisted so far with the NC rebuild money. And right now there's $1,674,859,000 worth of contract process going on with homes in Bladen County at this time. I didn't know all that was going on and that much had happened, but I asked how to do it, and it was something that I took on back here a couple of years ago with processing applications. And I sent in something like 180 applications, and I want to know what was the status of the applications. And there are still 90 applications that's in the process of being worked on at this time that have not been funded, but they're still under review. And I thought the money was running out. People was asking me about funding for NC Rebuild for Matthew. And what I want the public to know tonight, they got another $500 million worth of funds through NC Rebuild to help people that were damaged from Matthew and Florence that's still currently going. If you go to NC Rebuild and apply online, you can still apply to have homes replacement, improvements that was damaged, but it has to be from Matthew and Florence. And it's been like what, 5 years, Nathan, since that storm came through? 5, 6 years?
2016.
Yeah, it's been that long, but they are still providing funding to assist people in Bladen County to help with homes if they can use justification that they have been and were damaged from massive influence. So what I'm trying to say, please get people to go online and fill out. I never figured that out of 300 applications, I would have 200 some of them that would get processed, that they granted money to. And right now, I think I was talking with Mr. Martin, that's $27 million worth of residual income coming to the county in tax money. That's just to get started. They still haven't finished. So if y'all know some people who had damage, you need to contact me. I got some of the applications in my shop where I ran them out of. Let me know and I'll give you the paperwork if you need it. But the money is still available and the projects are still going on as of present now. If people are seeking damage from their home.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I have, ARP funding allocation coming from, Dr. Mungorns, Commissioner Cogdell, Commissioner Gillespie, and myself. I want to give this to, the county manager. And, this was written and printed before, St. Rest withdrew. So we do have St. Rest on them, but since they withdrew, we know they will not be considered as far as the ARP funding. And I'd like for Mr. Martin to notify us of any needed applications. You know, some of the individuals we have on here, or organizations rather, may not have an application out there. So if they don't have an application, let us know and we'll see if we get an application in. I'll give you a copy.
Anyone else?
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Revenue Department, Renee Davis, Tax Administrator.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'll be glad to speak to this if I may.
Sure.
The first item, A, is to request board to consider appointing Ms. Davis as the tax collector. As you all know, with the previous director, the title of tax collector was not applied. So the tax administrator was the tax assessor, but not the collector. And so Ms. Carol Kane has been the tax collector for the past 6 or 7 years, and she's done a great job. She plans to retire at the end of the month, and so the board has requested to appoint Ms. Davis as the tax collector. So therefore, she'll hold both roles, assessor and collector, and she'll be the administrator. And that would be effective October 1st.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Boyd, second by Dr. Mungorns. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Need an oath of. You got an oath of office, you're gonna
Hi, Elizabeth.
Okay. Do you, Elizabeth R. Davis, solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States, so help you God? Do you further solemnly swear that you will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are or may be established for the government thereof, and that you will endeavor to support, maintain, and defend the Constitution of the United States to the best of your knowledge and ability, so help you God? Do you swear that you will not allow your actions as tax collector to be influenced by personal or political friendships or obligations? Do you further swear that you will well and truly execute the duties of the office of county tax collector according to the best of your skill and ability and according to the law, so help you God?
Thank you, Mr. Bruce.
Let me please apologize. I'm gonna let Mr. Martin share his data information, so he's come forward, so the information I give you on the chart here.
Consider accepting the unpaid tax report and annual settlement for years 2012 through 2021 in accordance with NCGS 105-378. Approved. A motion, Mr. Cameron. Second by Dr. Ellis. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Consider adopting the charge of the Bladen County tax collector. You get a motion? Motion to approve. Mr. Hester, second from Mr. Gillespie. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Thank
you. Yes, ma'am. Parks and Recreation, Mr. Grant Tate, Director.
Good evening, Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I'm here tonight to request accepting the bids for our window project on the King Street Gym. Our low bid came in at $96,930. The second bid was $181,320, and the third bid was a no bid return from a company. I asked that we accept the bid and go into contract with the company so we can start on a window project.
Motion.
Make a motion to accept.
Mr. Cameron, second by Mr. Cogdell. Any further discussion?
What was the difference in the bid?
96 to 181.
181,000, 96,000.
181,000. Wow.
You feel good about it?
One Mr. Anderson window.
Yeah.
All in favor say aye. Opposed? Thank you.
And I'm gonna pile on a little bit with that one. We saved quite a bit of money, and I'm hoping to come back before you with your permission to put a little heat, air conditioning in the gym.
I think you've done his spin out.
I'm saying that I can.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing for some of you. That's a good thing.
Well, we have elections, there's all kind of programs we can do for May or June, so we're working on that.
Grant, if I can add a little humor to it, reminds me of one of my friends kept getting on his wife about buying all the clothes at regular price. They come in one evening, she said, honey, why don't you look at all these clothes, like I say. He said, I'm so proud of you. She said, now come here a minute. She came in, look at all these shoes I bought with the money I saved. There you go.
Nice.
And also I wanted to give you an update on the playground, the Trillium. They're in charge of all that. They're handling everything. We don't have to, all we do is receive emails and phone calls occasionally. I think spring next year, it should be up and running, moving right along. We're excited about that.
Where is it?
It'll be at the Bladen County Park, Trillium Health Resource. They give us $500,000 towards the playground.
I know, but what space did you give them? Because it seems they didn't have enough parking, you didn't have the.
The existing playground will be demolished, it will be demoed.
Okay.
And also, I want to give you an update too on our soccer registration ended last week. We've got close to 460 kids.
What?
So it's really growing, so.
COVID is over with. Hey, COVID is over with.
It's not enough.
How many you got?
We got one regulation soccer field / and we got a football field, and we're playing one age group on a baseball outfield. But thank y'all for the part of this year. We're going to apply for it and try to build a new soccer field behind our new concession stand. So, yes, sir.
You got room? Okay.
That'll help us out. Thank y'all. Thank you.
Soil and Water Conservation, Dean Morris, Director.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Bladen has the opportunity to receive some funding from the Division of Soil and Water for a proactive approach to stream cleanout. And instead of reactive after a storm, it's a new program that that is here. We've received a good amount of funds. We'll try to target most needed areas. So consider this approval.
Motion to approve. Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Bullock, second. By Mr. Gillespie. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Mr. Morris. Emergency Service, Mr. Nathan Dallas, Director.
Good evening. I know you have in your packets for the, consideration for approving for me to sign the, emergency management centric memorandum of agreement. What this is for, 4 years coming, this is the start. We're slow. We're almost at the end of Hurricane Matthew that you spoke about. Now Hurricane Florence is gonna gear up, so we've already done the expedited acquisitions. So this is the state-centric model for 8 more property acquisitions in the county, right at $700,000, and then a touch over $11,000 of management costs on that. So just asking for your permission.
Motion to approve.
Signed by Mr. Bullock, second by Dr. Moore. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, sir.
I have one question. So all of those old ones from Matthew or Clear?
Not yet. We still got, we got 2 in Blamer we're working on now. There's a couple of reimbursement things we're still waiting on with some stuff we've acquired and elevated. So hopefully after this one, I'll get, I think I got about 40 that's in the elevation program.
Okay.
So and they changed the model from Matthew to Florence, the state did. The counties had the option to handle it themselves or let the state handle it
And you let,
with county involvement. So y'all elected for the state to handle it.
yeah, go on.
Which was great for me, but
Mhm.
we'll see how it goes this time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nate.
So we, going back to, CDBG ENR, we had the first public hearing tonight. I think originally when we advertised, the second public hearing was gonna be on October the 3rd, I think it was, at that meeting. We've since found out that they're not gonna extend the application period for us to apply. So we have got to reschedule that public hearing for the next meeting, which is the 19th. And by that time, we should have, all the application period will be closed. And just so the public knows, so it's recorded, we cannot accept any applications after the 13th, which is next week. So once we have those, we'll have to go out and assess those, do budget information and have all that available if there's any questions at the next public hearing by the 19th. And we'll have to form a minimum of a 3-person committee that will certainly get input from y'all on who y'all will be on that. Or if you do, if you don't. So, but we do need to, in order for us to be eligible to apply, we need to reschedule that public hearing for the next commission. That's okay with y'all.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
Yes,
President. Please, notice the, September 19th, board appointments, advisory board appointments. I'm not gonna call them out if you got them listed. Number 12, rescue.
Yes, sir. Can we get a motion to approve the due date for that public hearing, please?
Yes.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Lester, second by Dr. Moore. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA enabled projects. Consider approving various eligible ARPA enabled project applications.
Motion to approve my full history of volunteer authority, Dixie's and family birthday. Second.
Let's do it.
Got a motion by Mr. Peterson, second.
Which two was it?
Question, it's 2 police stations.
Page 4.
Huh?
It's the case of sign, so
Fine. How about the Parks and Rec?
The 3 that were listed.
okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Got a motion by Mr. Peterson, again, a second by Mr. Cameron. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
I have, I have a question, Mr. Peterson just is the sign, right? Just the one police station? I didn't hear what you said, so. Mr. Chair.
Ma'am, I'm sorry.
Did he only ask for the town of East Arcadia that, for the building for the town? That was it, right? I'd like to make a motion that we approve the one for the Parks and Rec.
Where is the application for that?
It's been
It's been there, it's just, it's not.
Where's the money coming from?
before, you got it,
We got it on our, we got it on our APA. It's funded.
I just wanna know.
It's funded.
So y'all split that.
The question was, it wasn't on there.
Day two, on the district one for the name, Dr. Mungoin said it was coming from her, but now it's coming from,
all four.
Mr. Gillespie, Mr. Bullock, Dr. Mungoin, and Mr. Brown.
I second motion. We just give them $30-some thousand a couple years ago.
Okay. They still need a park, we still don't have all stuff done for the park.
I got a second on this.
I made the motion.
Got a motion by
Funding, I'm
Dr.
paying for
Mungoin.
it. You don't have to,
Got a
not tonight.
second, Mr. Cogdill. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
I'm ready. All of these. What we gonna do next?
Mr. Martin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a number of items, I'll try to go through them quickly, but please stop if you have any questions. I'd like to review the calendar with you for the remainder of September and for October. This weekend, the 10th, there's a Clash of the Carolinas triathlon at the Grand Regal at Goldson's Beach and White Lake. Also, at 7 p.m., the Double Peanut Festival Scholarship Pageant will take place at the BCC Auditorium. Next Monday, the 12th, at 5 p.m., the Health and Human Services Advisory Committee meets. Saturday, the 17th, the 30th Annual Double Peanut Festival event will take place. Also, that day at 12 noon, there's a community prayer service in the courthouse lawn. And just again to remind you, at 4 p.m. that afternoon, Daughters of the American Revolution bell. Board meets on Monday the 19th at 6:30. Also on Tuesday the 27th, there's an CAB meeting that will be hosted by the town of Florida. Moving over to October, there's a prayer service here on the 3rd at 8 a.m. Board meets that evening at 6:30. On Thursday the 6th, at 12 noon, JCPC meeting will be held. Saturday the 8th, North Carolina Grape Festival will take place at Woodville, Dublin. The Health and Human Services Advisory Committee meets on Monday the 10th, 5 p.m. Saturday the 15th at 8:30 a.m. the Trooper Kevin Connor Memorial Run will take place in Whiteville. Also that day at 12 noon, there's a community prayer service here. On Monday the 17th at 4:30 p.m., there's a special meeting regarding support to the people by the Cooperative Extension Service, and that will take place at the Pal Melvin Building. Also, the board meets that evening at 6:30 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, the 28th and 29th, Bladen County Festival.
Question, please. Can you please look out for that, open hearing? Is that here with us or just public hearing? On the 19th, Remember he said we had to move it?
Yes, ma'am. That'll be during a regular meeting.
Okay, thanks.
All right, moving to item B. You all may recall that the county actually obtained approximately a $1.1 million grant for a stormwater study following the hurricanes. And one of the projects that has been identified as critical is the King Street corridor here behind the courthouse. The town is applying for a grant. They would like the county's support on that. It's a competitive grant, and that contains extra points, no financial obligations to the county, but your consideration of approving the resolution.
And it's no expense to the council.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion by Mr. Bullock, second by Mr. Cameron. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. Moving to item C, I just wanted to update you and let you know that, remember, Bladen County and Focus Broadband partnered on a great grant application. That was awarded a week or so ago in the amount of $2,970,526. The match is $524,214. That will be split between Bladen County and Focus. And so that was the purpose, you remember, for portion of our ARPA funds being designated for that purpose. So that's very positive.
Do they say who's gonna put that project in place and company been awarded, who's gonna handle that?
I don't know, I mean, ATMC is the
Yeah, part of it.
Focus is kind of the new name for ATMC, so I guess they'll contract it or whatever. They'll be responsible.
He's gonna tell us how many houses he's gonna serve.
Oh, yeah, that was all in the application, but they'll provide updates, for that project.
I know last time they were talking about all that money for just approved homes.
This was up near the Chicken Foot Road. And it's tying into a project, if I'm not mistaken, they're.
Okay.
Alrighty, I wanted to remind you that the deadline for providing or submitting goals for the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners Legislative Goals process is coming up next Monday, the 12th. We haven't had any, I don't know of any pressing issue that I haven't heard from any of you, but I just wanted to let you know if you do have anything, if you could let us know as quickly as possible. A letter from the chairman. If there's broad support for it, a letter from the chairman would suffice if you have anything to submit. They've moved that process up. You may recall that normally in odd number of years, the legislative goals process would take place in January. They moved that up to, or the actual conference, they moved it up.
If one of these goes past, it has to have a 2/3 majority. Used to be 50% majority, now it's 2/3.
All right, moving to item E. Two projects have come up recently. One is called a BRIC project, which stands for Building Resilient Infrastructure in Communities. That's a FEMA program. We're continuing to learn information about it. We actually have a call tomorrow at 3 o'clock to learn more information about it. As we do, I'll continue to share it with you, but the purpose is to provide mitigation rather than be reactive, to try to provide preventive mitigation on potential hazard areas. So we'll find out more about it and let you know the information. So I've shared part of the information. The next project is called Rural Partners Network, and many of you know Mr. Reginald Spate, the Director of Rural Development. He reached out to us. They're promoting that as a regional concept. So the counties in our region that are invited to a meeting next week on the 13th are Bladen, Columbus, and Austin. So as we find out more information, I'll share that with you as well. The purpose of that is to, and they've selected communities who, like I said, in those communities, they've chosen by the ones who are experiencing large resource gaps, have motivated, inclusive, and collaborative local leaders and stakeholders, and basically trying to address high priority community needs. So I don't know exactly what that would look like, particularly at a regional level. But if we find out more information, I'll certainly share it with you.
They haven't given the location of the meeting yet.
Somewhere in Robinson County, but I don't know. It's usually, if they have regional meetings like that, a lot of times it's at the first meeting. All right, moving to item G. The strategic plan that was adopted earlier in the year identified updating the physical and technological capabilities of the EOC as a priority. And you all know that the jail facility has been, here adjacent to this building, has been vacant for several years now. Because of the ideal location of that facility, we would like to explore the possibility of either rehabbing that structure or demolishing it, building new or whatever. We don't know what would be the best idea. Really, the first approach to trying to determine how to move forward on that and ultimately how to obtain grant funding for that purpose would be to put out an RFQ for design services from engineer, architect, whatever. So I just want to mention that and get you to start thinking about it and come back to further conversation. And I welcome your thoughts. And then the last item is an update on the sales tax referendum. You all know it, November is coming quickly. We met this morning with representatives from the school system. We shared with you just a very a draft handout or flyer or whatever that could be used for talking points if anyone speaks to the group. And so if you will just review that and share with us your thoughts. thoughts, or if you have additional ideas that should be added to it, whatever. But just to remind you, it'll additional 1/4 cent. And we tried to use the wording, you remember that the wording on the ballot is very prescriptive. It doesn't help that provide any information that would help anybody understand what this is about. So the wording is 0.25% local sales and use tax. So we tried to use that multiple times just to get people kind of, they see it on the ballot, they know what it's about. And just to put it in perspective, it would add 1 penny to every $4 purchase. So it would generate about $500,000 a year. So the purpose is, again, is exclusively for school safety measures.
Mr. Martin, can you make copies of this or give us more copies of it?
We will, yes,
So
sir.
we can get it out?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're going to send it to the school system, get them to look at it and see. But as soon as we have something, and if you have anything, let us know. We'll add it too. But that's our intent.
It looks good.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, that's all I have.
Okay. Madam Clerk, individual delegation wishing to address the commissioners.
Mr. Leonard Hall.
Mr. Hall.
Good evening, everyone. Briefly, thank you for your time. I want to give you just a full update. We're submitting our contract for pages and pages officers. Understand that there's something about the mayor and the contract with the East Arcadia Fire Department. We've requested the minutes, but we haven't got those yet. But 3 times, East Arcadia Town Council has voted to contract with East Arcadia Fire Department. Y'all know the laws and y'all know the rules. Don't have to explain them. Mayor and council should be the obligation of the mayor to, of course, undergo the vote of the council. Funding, general statute states that the town, they didn't do a fire tax in the budget this time. The little bit of money that we're contracted for, that statute can come out the general fund. So we asked this board, we've been put off on this stuff. It's time for us to get rolling. All I ask is, and if you need a copy of the minutes, they'll be approved at our next town meeting. I have several people here that were in that meeting that witnessed the town council voting for the 3rd time to contract with East Arcadia Fire Department. So it's time for us to move on. We got everything in place. We got everything ready. We worked hard. So we ask y'all support so that we can go ahead and move to this last and final step. Thank you.
Take that and vote. Anyone else, Madam Clerk? Thank you. Matter of interest, commissioners? Yes, sir, Mr.
Mr. Martin, going into the Abbotsburg dump site, asphalt is tore up really bad there at the entrance gate. And it hasn't been paved all that long ago, so I don't know what's causing it. Somebody called me and I did go look at it. It is looking really bad. Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else? Can I get a motion to go into closed session?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Gillespie, second by Mr. Bullock. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Go into the back.
This conference will now be recorded.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Fred, I'll make a motion when all the paperwork gets signed and give the authority to Mr. Johnson and Mr. Dallas and Mr. Martin that we provide the needed services that the East Arcadia Fire Department needs to be a fire department.
Second. Got a motion by Mr. Peters, second by Mr. Gillespie. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Got a motion by.
Motion to adjourn.
Yep.
Got a motion by Mr. Campbell, second. Go home. Go home. Get out of here.